In this video, we're going to take a look at customary units of weight, and we're going to convert customary units of weight. And what we mean by customary units of weight, these are the units that United States uses. Okay, and the weight is just how heavy something is. And we're going to take a look at ounces, pounds, and tons. Now, to give you some reference and also some conversions here, you'll want to write these down as far as the conversions are concerned. It's important to know that 16 ounces equals 1 pound and 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. And one other one that you may not know, 32,000 ounces equals 1 ton. Okay, there's a little fun fact there. That's a free one. Now, as far as a point of reference, a slice of bread is about an ounce, or think about 5/4 is about an ounce. And as far as a pound is concerned, think about one adult shoe. Okay, not a pair of shoes, but just one adult shoe. It's about a pound. And think about a car, it's about 1 ton. And now those vary depending on the size of the car, but a car is about 1 ton. Now, some conversion reminders when you're going ounces to pounds. Remember, smaller to larger, larger to smaller, and all of that. This is smaller to larger, so that means we're going to divide by 16. You'll want to write these down, these conversions down in your notes as well to really help you out. Pounds to ounces, multiply by 16. Why are we multiplying by 16? Why do we divide by 16? Because 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Okay, pounds to tons, divide by 2,000. Tons to pounds, multiply by 2,000. Why do we multiply or divide by 2,000? Because we know that 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. Okay, now we're going to take a look at figuring out how many 1,600 pounds equals how many tons. Okay, so we need to remember that we are going from smaller to larger. Because we're doing that, we're going to divide. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take 1,600 and we'll divide that by 2,000. And then we're going to be getting a decimal for this. Okay, so we just punch it right in our calculator. 1,600 divided by 2,000 equals 0.8 or 8/10. Okay, so 1,600 pounds equals 8/10 of a ton. Okay, you can just punch it right into your calculator just like that. Now we have 0.5 pounds or a half a pound equals how many ounces? Okay, so from here we are going from larger to smaller. So because of that, we're going to multiply. Okay, we're going to multiply 5/10 by 16. Why do we multiply in 5/10 by 16? Because we have 5/10 of a pound. Okay, multiplied by 16 because there's 16 ounces in 1 pound. So we have 0.5 times 16 equals 8 ounces. So a half a pound or 5/10 of a pound equals 8 ounces. Okay, now what I want you to do is get out your math journal, pencil, and calculator. I want you to do a couple of these problems with me, then I'll have you do some all by yourself. So we have 1/10 of a ton equals how many pounds? Okay, so what we're going to do, we need to think about, we're going to multiply or divide. We're going from larger to smaller. So because of that, we're going to multiply. What are we going to multiply by? We're going to multiply by 2,000. The reason why we're multiplying by 2,000 is because there's 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. Okay, so we can take 1/10 and multiply that by 2,000. So 0.1 times 2,000. That equals 200 for my answer. Okay, so 1/10 of a ton equals 200 pounds. Okay, we'll look at one more together and I'll have you do some all by yourself. 3 5/10 pounds equals how many ounces? So once again, we need to think about we're going to multiply or divide larger to smaller. So because of that, we're going to multiply. What are we going to multiply by? 16, because there's 16 ounces in 1 pound. So we're going to do 3 and 5/10 times 16. Okay, we can put that right in our calculator here. 3.5 times 16. That gives me 56 ounces. So 3 and 5/10 pounds equals 56 ounces. Now what I want you to do is complete this problem all by yourself, and I want to have you press pause, complete the problem, then press play, and I'll have the answer for you. Okay, our answer for this problem is 10 and 5/10 pounds. So we took 168, we divided it by 16, we divided it by 16 because we are going from smaller to larger, and also by the number 16 because there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So the answer is 10 and 5/10. Now we're going to take a look at one more problem here with converting weight, customary units of weight. We have 5,000 pounds equals how many tons? Okay, so I want you to pause this video, work this problem out, then press play, and I'll have the answer for you. So you can see the answer for this problem, 5,000 pounds equals 2 and 5/10 tons. We took 5,000, we divided that by 2,000, and that gave us 2.5. Now I'm going to do 2 problems for you, and then I will have us do 1 problem together, and I'll have you do 1 problem all by yourself. So the first problem, 5 pounds 8 ounces plus 3 pounds 4 ounces, and what we're doing here is now adding customary units of weight, and we need to think about our conversions. Remember, 16 ounces equals 1 pound, and 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. Okay, so we're adding 8 and 4, that gives us 12 ounces. Now we don't have to convert anything here because 12 ounces is not more than 1 pound. And then 5 and 3, that gives us 8 pounds. Okay, so 5 pounds 8 ounces plus 3 pounds 4 ounces equals 8 pounds 12 ounces. Pretty simple there. Now let's take a look at another problem where we're going to have to convert. We have 8 pounds 9 ounces plus 8 pounds 8 ounces. So 8 and 9 gives me 17 ounces. Now there's a problem with that because 17 ounces is more than 1 pound. So what I will do is I will just take 16 ounces from this. That gives me 1 ounce left over. I'm going to take those 16 ounces and regroup them over to the pounds, and then I'm going to add 1 plus 8, that gives me 9, plus 8, that gives me 17 pounds. Okay, now the reason why I had to regroup is because 17 ounces was more than 1 pound, so I just subtracted the pound from there, which is 16 ounces, and then regrouped over to the pounds. Now what I want you to do is write down 6 pounds 8 ounces plus 1 pound 9 ounces. Just write that out in your math journal. We'll complete this problem together. Okay, so you should have that written out in your math journal. Now you're going to add 8 and 9. That gives me 17 ounces. Now just like our previous problem, 17 ounces is larger than 1 pound. So we're going to subtract 16, representing the pound. Now we have 1 ounce left over. We're going to bring that pound right over. So we have 1 and 6 gives me 7, plus another one gives me 8 pounds. So 8 pounds, 1 ounce. Now what I want you to do is pause the video. I want you to work this problem out right here. 12 ounces plus 6 pounds 4 ounces. Pause the video, then when you press play I'll have the answer for you. So pause the video now. So you can see the answer is 7 pounds 0 ounces. 12 and 4 gave me 16, and we had to regroup, take 16 ounces away and carry the pound over, so that gave me 7 pounds 0 ounces. Now we're going to take a look at subtracting customary units of measurement. Okay, now it's important to understand your conversions. Okay, so now we have 30 tons 500 pounds minus 28 tons 1,500 pounds. So we're going to take away 1,500 from 500. We cannot do that, so what we're going to have to do is regroup, change that 30 to a 29. And we're going to bring a ton over. So remember, 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So we'll change that 500 to actually 2,500 pounds. So we have 2,500 pounds minus 1,500 pounds gives me 1,000 pounds. And then 28 minus 29, pretty simple there, gives me 1 ton. Okay, so the answer is 1 ton, 1,000 pounds. Okay, now let's take a look at the next problem. 18 tons, 180 pounds, minus 12 tons, 1,180 pounds. Now once again, if you have to regroup, you'll have to regroup, but if you don't, you can just subtract normally. Okay, however, in this problem, I cannot take 1,180 pounds away from 180 pounds. That's impossible. So I'm going to have to regroup. So I'm going to change that 18 to a 17, and I'll bring the tons over here. I'm going to add 2,000 pounds. Okay, and bring 1 ton over, adding it to 180. That gives me 2,180. Okay, I'm going to take that 2,180 and subtract 1,180. Now I am able to do that. That gives me 1,000 pounds left over. And then 17 minus 12 gives me 5 tons. Okay, so 5 tons, 1,000 pounds. Now what I want you to do is write 35 tons minus 30 tons, 1,675 pounds. I want you to write that one out in your math journal, and then we'll complete this problem together. Okay, so first of all, we're trying to take 1,675 pounds away from 0. You cannot do that, so we're going to have to regroup, change that 35 to a 34, bring the 2,000 over. Okay, now we're going to subtract 2,000 minus 1,675, and that gives me 325 pounds. Okay, now we can subtract 34 minus 30. That gives me 4 tons for my final answer. 4 tons, 325 pounds. Now what I want you to do is complete the problem here to the right. 3 tons, 1,000 pounds minus 2,675 pounds. Complete that problem, and you'll have to press pause, complete it, and then when you're finished, press play, and I'll have the answer for you. So I want you to pause the video right now. So we have the answer, 2 tons, 325 pounds. You can see we had to regroup. We could not take 2,675 away from 1,000, so we had to regroup, changing that 1,000 to 3,000 pounds, and we had our answer, 2 tons, 325 pounds. And that is how you convert customary units of measurement and also, units of weight, and that's also how you add and subtract customary units of weight. Now what I would have to say that you're either going to sink or swim based upon your knowledge of conversion. So it's important that whenever you're converting ounces to pounds, divide by 16, pounds to ounces, multiply by 16, pounds to tons, divide by 2,000, and tons to pounds, multiply by 2,000. So if you have any questions about this topic, please come and see me.